Hey guys, welcome to the 12th episode of this story, in which Naruto discovered his heritage before he entered the academy. How would he turn out? Listen and find out as Naruto strives to accomplish his goals of becoming Hokage and reviving the Namikaze clan. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Now, let's get started. It has been 6 days since Jiraiya, Sakura and Naruto entered Tenzaku Street and met Tsunade. I still don't understand why Jiraiya wanted us to stay here any more than we need to. That bitch already said she didn't want to become Hokage, so what's the point in us staying here? Naruto thought as he was near a waterfall. Oh well, I might as well use my time to train. Kagebushin no Jutsu. Naruto yelled out and summoned 6 clones. Okay guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to train, but we'll only limit ourselves to a set number of moves to use, and each must different from others. What we're trying to do is make our fighting style more efficient than before, understood? Naruto explained. Understood. The clones all nodded. Then let's go. Naruto yelled and then they all charged at each other. I know Sakura is with Shizen learning medical techniques, but where the heck is Naruto? Jiraiya asked as he was walking around town. You look worried, Jiraiya. Tsunade said as she met him. Tsunade, Jiraiya said as he saw his teammate. You want to get a drink with me, for old time's sake? Tsunade asked, smiling. Sure. Jiraiya replied. So, why did you want to drink for? Are you worried about if what you're doing is the right thing to do? Jiraiya asked as he was drinking his sake. While he was doing so, Tsunade was quick enough to put some sort of drug into his drink. Unbeknownst to it, Jiraiya began to drink more and more of it. The next morning, sir, it's morning. Please wake up already. The manager of the small pub asked Jiraiya, who was knocked out on the seat. Yohu? The manager exclaimed as he tried to shake Jiraiya up, but the man then fell to the ground. Hey, what happened to you? You're okay? The manager asked. Last night, hey Shizui, are those two here? Tsunade asked her apprentice as she saw Sakura sitting on a chair next to Naruto, who was on a bed, covered with bandages. Sakura-chan came over in order for me to teach some medical ninjutsu, and we found Naruto injured from probably training, and thus we decided to take him in so he could be healed. Shizen explained. Wait, you're teaching her medical ninjutsu? You over there, why do you want to learn medical ninjutsu? Tsunade asked Sakura. It's because it's always been a dream of mine to become a great medic nin like you, Tsunade-sama, and I also want to protect those I care and love. Sakura said, and upon saying the last part of her answer, she glanced at Naruto. She's just like me, Tsunade thought while looking at Sakura sadly. How about I help you out? Tsunade asked, smiling. Really? Sakura asked joyfully. Of course, it would be my pleasure. Tsunade said. Tsunade-sama, Shizen thought hours later. Sakura fell asleep from exhaustion after working on medical ninjutsu, and thus Tsunade placed her on a bed next to Naruto. Tsunade-sama, you must listen to me please. If you're going, Shizen began to say. What will you do? Tsunade asked. Even if it costs me my life, I will stop you. Shizen yelled. Who do you think you're talking to, Shizen? Tsunade asked, glaring at her apprentice. Shizen got ready, but then in an instant, she was knocked to the ground by an invisible blow to the gut as Tsunade left the room and walked away. The day of the meeting, it could be problematic if there's interference during the exchange. Orochimaru told Kabuto as they were racing back to Tenzaku Street. What are you suggesting? Kabuto asked. That apprentice of Tsunade's, it would be best if we kill her. Orochimaru explained. Kabuto then sported a dark look as he readied his kunai and then veered off course from where Orochimaru was heading. Why happened? Naruto asked himself as he woke up. He then found Sakura on a separate bed next to him and Shizen on the ground. Hey guys, wake up. Naruto said as he woke both girls. Where oh no. Where's Tsunade-sama? Shizun exclaimed as she looked around for her mistress. Naruto-kun. Sakura-chan. We have to get out of here now. Shizun told the two genins. Shizun was about leap out of the window when a kunai struck the wall near the window to the right. She turned around and her eyes widened. You are. Shizun exclaimed. Wait, Shizun. Jiraiya said as he was the one who threw the kunai. Naruto, Shizun and Sakura then went up to meet Jiraiya and helped him sit on the ground. Damn that Tsunade. She put drugs into my sake yesterday. I can't mold chakra properly and my whole body stings. Jiraiya said as he grimaced in pain. Let me guess, she came over to you for a drink and since you couldn't resist her charms and her huge rack considering how much of a pervert you are, you fell right for her trap, didn't you? Naruto explained with a smirk. Shut up you. Jiraiya yelled, flustered. Anyway, even in her fallen state, she's still a medical specialist. She's the only one that could create a tasteless and odorless drug against fellow ninjas and I fell for it. Jiraiya said. For that Jiraiya-sama to be here, I will have to report it to Orochimaru-sama immediately. However, I did not expect Naruto-kun and Sakura-chan to be here as well. Kabuto thought as he saw them talking. He then moved out but not before Jiraiya noticed him. By the way Shizun, you might want to tell us exactly what Orochimaru told Tsunade. Jiraiya told the apprentice with a tone that would not take no for an answer. Orochimaru? Sakura repeated. I truly wanted to believe that in Tsunade-sama, that's why I couldn't say anything before. Shizun said with her head down. Come with me. I'll tell you on the way. Shizun then said before heading out along with the others. So, what's the answer Tsunade? Orochimaru asked as he and Tsunade were face to face. I guess I went too hard on her. But still, her answer had to be no. Naruto growled. I really hope you're right Naruto and I really hope you follow your mind, not your heart Tsunade. Because if you don't, I might really have to kill you. Jiraiya thought. I will heal your hands but in exchange, I want you to keep your hands off the village. Tsunade said. Haha alright. Orochimaru chuckled. As she walked toward Orochimaru, memories of her time with Dan and Nawaki flowed through her mind, causing tears to flow down her face. Now Orochimaru said as they approached each other, if his left arm is healed, he will no doubt attack the leaf again. Jiraiya yelled as they were running on the trees. Damn it! Naruto thought. Orochimaru stretched out his arms painfully and Tsunade started to channel her chakra into a ball in between her hands and was about to apply onto Orochimaru's arms when suddenly, a kunai was shot between them, cancelling the exchange as both backed away. The person who threw the kunai was none other than Kabuto, who was on the ceiling of one of the walls. He then jumped down to the ground and began walking toward Orochimaru. What is this? To have come this far and betray me Tsunade. Orochimaru said with his eyes widened in anger. How could you try and answer me like this? Trying to kill me? Orochimaru asked. But thanks to you Kabuto, the one I trust with my life, you were able to see her attack and stop it. Orochimaru told Kabuto. We are both medic nins and thus I was able to sense an intense killing intent in her chakra. Kabuto explained. I promised to revive your two beloved for you and I even promised to never attack the leaf again. Orochimaru said. I knew you were lying about that Orochimaru but even when I knew, I just wanted to touch those two, feel those two, see those two one more time, that I was willing to throw everything away. But then, I met Minato's kid and his female teammate, and to see how strong they were and how much they valued their dreams, it made me realize how selfish and foolish I was acting all this time and how much of a fool I have really been and how much of a fool I would have been if I did what you asked because if I did, I would have betrayed them too as well, those two would put their lives on the line to accomplish their dreams. Tsunade explained, crying. So this means the deal is off then we'll have no choice but to force you to do it. Orochimaru said. Tsunade wiped her tears and then glared at Orochimaru before running toward them at high speed, jumped and then brought her heel down. The two got out of the way and Tsunade's heel struck the ground, creating a huge crater. Your strength is still as legendary as ever, Orochimaru said as he and Kabuto were on the ceiling of one of the walls. You bastards! Come out so I can kill you, Tsunade said as she took off her green jacket and then rushed toward them and destroyed the wall they were standing on. Even one hit can end your life, Orochimaru told Kabuto as they jumped up and landed a few feet away. I can tell. However, this place is a bit too crowded for this kind of fight, Kabuto said. Do you plan on moving somewhere else? Orochimaru asked. Yes, that would be wise. Besides, there was another troublesome person along with Tsunade's apprentice, Kabuto said. Who is it? Orochimaru asked. He's one of the Sanins like you, Kabuto answered. Jiraiya, Orochimaru thought as he and Kabuto left. I won't let you escape, Tsunade thought as she chased after them. Well, something big happened here, that's for sure, Naruto said as he and the others arrived on the scene. Whoa! Tsunadeheim, princess, went off pretty wildly in here. Jiraiya chuckled. So, this means Tsunade-sama declined after all? Shizune thought. Shizune then puts her pig on the ground who then started to sniff Tsunade's jacket for scent. Now Tun-Tun, tell us where she went, Shizune said. Tsunade seems to be running out of breath, it's a good time to use it now, Orochimaru said to Kabuto. Although I'm not that strong when it comes to taijutsu, Kabuto said as he then took out a purple pill from his pouch and then swallowed it. A soldier pill? Tsunade thought as she saw the pill that Kabuto had swallowed it. Kabuto then immediately went through a series of seals and his hands were then engulfed in a bluish chakra. So this child also knows medical ninjutsu as well, Tsunade thought. Kabuto then disappeared and then reappeared near Tsunade from underground and tried to touch her with one of his hands, but the Sannin was able to jump up to avoid it. She then brought her fist down and struck where Kabuto rose up from, but the young medic Nin was able to dodge it and Tsunade's fist struck the ground. Tsunade then kicked the stone where Kabuto was hiding nearby, but Kabuto saw it coming and was able to move out of the way as her kick crushed the boulder, and then reappeared behind her as she was still in midair and touched her on her left shoulder and left leg, but Tsunade was still able to knock him back with a shoulder blow to the chest. However, Tsunade was unable to move. My muscles, Tsunade thought as she noticed what was wrong. I've cut your biceps and abdomen muscles so that you won't be able to use that legendary strength of yours, Kabuto explained. Chakra scalpels, why didn't just aim for my arteries then? Tsunade asked. Certainly, with this chakra scalpel, I could have severed all of your muscles and blood vessels. However, the problem is that in a long fight, it becomes much harder to me them accurately, and it's much harder to hit with a precise scalpel long enough to hit all the way into your arteries. Either way, as long as I aim for your neck, there shouldn't be a problem, Kabuto explained before dashing towards Tsunade and striking her near her chest. Tsunade then suddenly began to breathe harder and clutch her chest in pain. Shit. You hit the muscles near my respiratory area, can't breathe, Tsunade said as she began to cough. This boy is not an ordinary medical ninja. His strength and accuracy well exceed mine even in my prime, Tsunade thought. It would be troublesome if you were to die now, so I didn't aim for your neck, but you should still be unable to move, Kabuto said as he pushed his glasses up only to be backhanded on the neck by Tsunade, who was able to move. What? She shouldn't be able to move unless somehow I was unable to get a full hit because of the fat in her breasts, Kabuto thought as he got up the ground. I'll have to be more serious now, Kabuto thought as he tried to get up, but then to his surprise, when he wanted to move his hand, his left leg moved instead. What's going on? When I try to move my hand, I move my left leg instead, Kabuto thought. Want to know why? It's because of your nerves. I changed my chakra into electricity and then sent the electric waves into your nervous system. Tsunade explained. I see, so Tsunade basically disrupted the communication from his body to his nervous system completely, basically making his body entirely confused at what to do. Orochimaru thought. To think that she would still have this much power despite not having fought for a long time. I guess this is the power of a Sannin. Kabuto thought. Damn, healing wounds consume too much chakra. Tsunade thought as she healed her wounds. If I try to move my hand, my leg moves. If I try to move my left foot, my right shoulder would move. It's tiresome, but I think I'd figured out how to use 80 of my body now. Kabuto thought as he slowly got back up. Don't think that you will defeat me with this level of technique. Kabuto said as he pulled out his kunai. What? He's already figured out how to use his body? Impossible. Tsunade thought. You're afraid of blood, right? Then I'll show you some blood. Kabuto said as he headed straight for Tsunade, but then a cloud of smoke stopped him in his tracks. Jiraiya and the gang appeared. I'm not surprised to see you here, Kabuto-san, considering he told me you smelled like snakes. Naruto said to Kabuto, emphasizing on the he part as he was referring to Kyuubi. So I see you know that kid, Naruto. Jiraiya said. Move. Tsunade said as she pushed Jiraiya out of the way and ran toward Kabuto. Kabuto on the other hand grinned and then suddenly slashed his right hand, draping blood on Tsunade, which caused her hemophobia to activate once again and thus stun in her tracks. Great, now she's afraid of blood? Naruto growled as he recognized Tsunade's hemophobia. I'm finally able to move at 100. Kabuto said, and besides, taking on 2 of the Sannins would put me at a great disadvantage. Kabuto thought. He then punched Tsunade, knocking her back, but luckily was caught by Shizun. Wait? What the hell is Kabuto doing here and why is he fighting Tsunade? Sakura asked. Despite the fact that he helped us back in the Forest of Death, he was working for Orochimaru from the get-go and thus was never our friend, Sakura-chan. Naruto explained. It's like they say, nothing gets by you, huh, Naruto-kun? Kabuto smirked. Don't even start with the being friendly bullshit. Any ally of Orochimaru is an enemy of the leaf and thus my enemy, and to be honest, I'm glad you're here. I've been pissed throughout this entire trip and I have been looking for an outlet to unleash my rage against, and you look like the perfect candidate. Naruto said, ending with a dangerous smirk. Those are big words coming from a little man. Kabuto chuckled. Man, you really want to die today, don't you? Naruto asked, glaring. I'm sorry, I recognize your talents, but compared to the Sannins, you're just a shrimp. Kabuto said. Oh, is that so? Well, considering we fought the same Sannin and I needed only 2 moves to nearly kill her while you needed to prey on her weakness like a coward, I'm pretty sure I'm more than just a shrimp. Besides, if I could survive against pain, fighting against you will be a cakewalk. Naruto smirked. Why, you little brat? Kabuto growled as he was getting irritated by Naruto's smart comments. Just like his father, he's also able to piss off any adversary he faces. Jiraiya thought. That boy fought pain and is still alive? Orochimaru thought, as he was shocked to hear about the boy's bout against pain. Kabuto then took out a pill and ate it. A blood-stopping pill? Shizun thought. That guy is a medic nin after all. Sakura thought. You're bleeding a lot, Kabuto. Orochimaru remarked. Please take off your left bandage, Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto said. Shizun, you handle the guy in glasses while I handle Orochimaru. Jiraiya ordered Shizun. I don't think so. Shizun needs to tend to her mistress so she can get back to 100 and help you out against Orochimaru considering your current disposition. Naruto objected. You've got a point there. Alright then, you'll take on Kabuto instead. Jiraiya said. As much as I would love to smash his face into dirt, I'm afraid I'm going to have to pass. Besides, there's a much better adversary in our ranks to go up against him. Naruto said. And who would that be? Jiraiya asked. Sakura-chan will take him on. Naruto said, surprising both Jiraiya and Sakura. Look, I admit she's better than most kunoichis her age, but she's outmatched in this one. Jiraiya objected. Sakura-chan is a medic nin and also a genjutsu and ninjutsu user. Kabuto may have beaten Tsunade, but that's only because he knew of her weakness and because she hasn't fought in a long time. Besides, I should know more about my teammate than you, and if I believe she can win against him, then she can. Trust me on this, Ero Sennin, I know what I'm doing. Naruto said with a look that would take nothing against it. Jiraiya then sighed and grinned, alright then little girl. Your boyfriend trusts you enough to take on that guy, so you better not let us down, got it? Jiraiya said to Sakura. I won't let any of you down, Shinaro. Sakura said as she put on her black gloves. Both sides faced each other off, and then Kabuto took some of Orochimaru's blood, then wiped it on a tattoo on his arm before slamming his hands to the ground. Jiraiya bit one of his fingers and went through a couple of seals before slamming his hand to the ground, Kuchios no Jutsu. Both yelled out, and while Kabuto was able to summon 3 large brown-skinned snakes, the best Jiraiya could summon was a small reddish frog. What the hell? Jiraiya yelled out. Remind me again as to why you're my teacher? Naruto asked, embarrassed. Shut up you. Jiraiya told him. It looks the drug still hasn't worn off, Jiraiya-sama. Shizun thought as she saw what happened. It looks like you still haven't cured that incompetence of yours, huh, Jiraiya? If that's the case, then I will attack first. Orochimaru said. Judging by what just happened, it must have been Tsunade's doing. She must have given him a drug to limit his power in order to prepare him as a sacrifice for that jutsu you promised to you. Kabuto said. I'll see through this handicap soon enough. Jiraiya thought. As usual, that guy's shamefully indecent. Orochimaru chuckled. Let's try it again. Kuchios no Jutsu. Jiraiya said and tried it again, but this time summoned a yellow frog. Wow, you're truly something amazing, aren't you, Ero Sennin? Naruto said as he shook his head. How about you stop with the smart comments and start helping me out here? Jiraiya whined. I can't, I don't have a frog summoning contract. You never gave me one. Naruto said. Oh yeah, I forgot. My bad. Jiraiya said while scratching the back of his head. You really are hopeless, Jiraiya. Orochimaru said. Hey Gamikichi-nizan. The yellow frog said to the red frog. What are you doing here, Gamatatsu? You gotta hide before you become lunch for those guys. The older brother frog said as he pointed to the snakes coming at them. You go take on the rest while I take care of Jiraiya. Orochimaru ordered as all 3 snakes collided into the ground, creating a shockwave that knocked everyone back and created a smoke. Your opponent is me, Jiraiya. Orochimaru said as he was riding his snake near Jiraiya. Swamp of the Underworld. Jiraiya yelled as he created a swamp to cave in the snake, but barely. I couldn't even create a large swamp and the snake is still moving well, Jiraiya thought as he landed on the snake. Meanwhile, Shizun shot a couple of needles from her needle thrower located on her arm toward Kabuto, who dodged it easily and countered by knocking her back with one of his hands, ninpu, poison gas. Shizun said and then shot a cloud of smoke from her mouth toward Kabuto. However, when the smoke dissipated, Kabuto was nowhere to be seen until his hands shot from underground and grabbed Shizun's legs. Gah! The strength in my legs is fading, Shizun thought as she fell on her knees. Kagebushin no Jutsu. Naruto yelled as created hundreds of clones to make the snake in which he and Sakura were trapped in explode. Man, I really snakes. Sakura said as she covered in fluids, and so was Naruto. Both Jiraiya and Orochimaru went through a series of seals as Orochimaru dashed toward Jiraiya. Suddenly, his neck elongated and headed toward Jiraiya. Underworld spines. Jiraiya said as his hair then turned into spikes that protect him almost like an armor. Nevertheless, Orochimaru kicked at Jiraiya and his foot ended up being punctured, but that did not stop Orochimaru as he was able to still bite Jiraiya. Shit, the technique wasn't that effective. Jiraiya thought as he winced in pain. We've both hit each other, but if I add a little more, Jiraiya said. Just quit already. Orochimaru replied. Kabuto had finished with Shizune as he knocked her down with a punch to the face, and when he did, some of Shizune's blood landed on Tsunade's left cheek. Then, flashes of Dan and Nawaki lying dead flashed through her, and when Kabuto tries to touch her hand, she deflected it as she tried to back away. Yuyuri so pathetic. Kabuto growled as he was to punch her when suddenly, he found himself in a field of cherry trees. Shit. A genjutsu. Kabuto cursed and then cancelled it only to see Tsunade in the arms of Naruto. Not bad. You used a genjutsu to distract in order to save her. Not bad at all, but still not good enough. Kabuto said as he then dashed towards Tsunade and Naruto when he was suddenly knocked by Sakura, who struck him in the left side of his ribs using her own glowing hand. I'm your opponent now, Kabuto-san. Sakura said. Oh really? It seems I'm being highly underestimated here. Looks I'll have to teach you all a lesson. Kabuto said. I don't think so. Sakura said as she got into her stance. So she's a medic nin as well. I'll have to be careful with her. Kabuto thought as he dashed towards Sakura. Sakura ran to meet him up front and then they started to clash at each other, each trying to cut each other with their scalpel but were unable to land a decisive blow. She's fast and also accurate. If I don't put on the defensive, I might actually lose this bout. Kabuto thought. She's actually pushing him, Tsunade said as she was watching the fight along with Naruto. That's because she wants to win. She's putting her entire life and dreams on the line with this fight. Naruto said. Her life and dreams? Tsunade repeated softly. Chakra shot. Sakura yelled out and then unleashed a shot of green chakra from her hand toward Kabuto, who was struck by it. However, he was able to jump back to avoid the full blow. Naruto said as he saw what Kabuto had done. What was that? It was as if she concentrated her chakra into a wave of chakra. Not only that, but that chakra, there's something in it that makes it gua. Kabuto thought before clutching his stomach. My chakra shot is not just a normal chakra attack. The chakra that I fire from it has the ability to replicate a virus or anything biological or medical effect I want. That shot was supposed to completely rearrange your insides, but you were able to dodge and thus not get the full effect of it. But this one should end it. Chakra shot. Sakura said as she fired another shot, but this time, Kabuto was able to go underground to avoid and reappeared from underneath Sakura, who was able to dodge it. Pressure finger. Sakura yelled and then struck Kabuto's arm with right index finger. Suddenly, Kabuto's right arm goes limp. Don't tell me she. Kabuto thought as he realized what just happened. She struck one of his pressure points near the arm. Tsunade exclaimed as she also realized what happened, but no ordinary genin could have known where they are located. Is she a medic genius? Tsunade thought. I only need one arm to crush you. Kabuto roared as he tried to punch Sakura with his only healthy hand, but Sakura grabbed it and then retaliated with a powerful punch to the gut. This feels just like one of Tsunade's punches. Who the hell is this girl? Kabuto thought as he was sent flying into a boulder by the punch. He won't be getting up from that one. My last punch was basically a concentrated chakra shot, so his stomach should have gotten rearranged by now. Sakura said. Don't talk so hastily, Sakura-chan. Kabuto said as he got back up. He's up again? Sakura exclaimed, but that's impossible. That last punch should have knocked him down and out for good. Sakura thought. I've got to hand it to you, Sakura, you're much tougher than you look. However, you're not tough enough. You must be wondering why your last attack didn't end the fight, correct? It's because of my special ability called instant regeneration. Kabuto explained. Instant regeneration? Tsunade, Naruto, and Sakura all exclaimed. Yes. It's an ability that I developed in order to better serve Orochimaru's purpose. It basically activates whether an area of mine in my body has been badly damaged. It will replace the old cells with the new cells, and thus heal my body to perfection. Kabuto explained. If that's the case, then all I have to do is put more power into it. Sakura said as she ran toward Kabuto with her left fist engulfed in green chakra, and she then punched him as hard as she could in the same spot, but this time, it didn't even budge him. No response? Sakura asked. There's one more thing my instant regeneration does for me. It renders me immune to the attack I regenerated from, so no matter how many times you hit me with it or that pressure finger of yours, it will be rendered useless since my body has now become unaffected by them. Kabuto said with a grin before knocking Sakura back with a roundhouse kick to the face. Well, what's the matter, Naruto-kun? Are you not going to defend your girlfriend against me? Kabuto asked. I don't need to, she's going to win. Naruto replied sternly. Ha, 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 ha. How cute to trust your girlfriend that much, but she's way out of her league this time, Naruto-kun. Kabuto laughed. I wouldn't underestimate us kunoichis, Kabuto. Sakura said as she got back up. And why is that? Kabuto asked. Because of this. Sakura said, and then small pink sharp petals were all around Kabuto. What is this? Kabuto asked. Ninpu, Sakura Kageyoshi, Ninja Art, Cherry Blossom's Brutal Shadows. Sakura yelled, and then the petals all struck Kabuto, cutting him up, and knocking him to the ground. Well, would you look at that? It looks like the girlfriend of my apprentice defeated yours. Jiraiya said. I wouldn't be too sure about that. Orochimaru said with a smirk. As soon as Orochimaru said that, Kabuto rose up, but this time, his eyes were blood red with a blank look in his eyes. He's persistent. Jiraiya said. Kabuto then dashed towards Sakura, who was a bit exhausted from her last jutsu. Kabuto swung his kunai but was caught by Naruto's left hand. Naruto-kun. Sakura said. You did great, Sakura-chan, but allow me to finish this jerk off. Naruto said, and then used his right hand to create a clone who then started to form the Rasengan. That's his jutsu. Tsunade thought as she recognized what it was. Now stay down. Futon, Rasengan. Naruto yelled out and then slammed his attack into Kabuto. The ball engulfed him and slammed him into a huge rock. When the smoke cleared, Kabuto was on the ground, unconscious. That kid actually learned how to use one of his father's techniques? Orochimaru thought. Jiraiya, did you teach him that? Orochimaru asked Jiraiya. Yeah, I did. Jiraiya replied. This kid could prove to be problematic, but first things first, I have to get rid of my second biggest obstacle. Orochimaru thought as he then flew down and entered the ground. What is he planning now? Jiraiya asked. I may not get my arms back, but at least I'll be able to accomplish something much greater. The death of a Sannin. Orochimaru said as he reappeared behind Tsunade. Tsunade. Jiraiya yelled out. It's over, Tsunade. Orochimaru said as he had his Kusanagi out from his mouth, and then thrusts it forward. But instead of stabbing Tsunade, he stabs Naruto in the left shoulder instead. Naruto-kun. Sakura cried out. But why? Tsunade asked Naruto. I don't know, my body just decided to move on its own. Or maybe it's the fact that for the first time in this trip, I can see you and acknowledge you as the Godame Hokage. Naruto said before coughing out more blood. What? Tsunade asked, shocked. You had a chance that not many people get in their lifetimes, and that is to see your loved ones again. Most people would have taken that chance, but you refused and instead decided to put your life on the line to defend what's right. That's a quality that only a Hokage would demonstrate and no one else would. Naruto explained. This boy is the son of that wretched bastard, has the Kyuubi in him, and on top of that, he survived against pain. He'll become too troublesome if I don't kill him now. Orochimaru thought as he then pulled out his Kusanagi from Naruto's shoulder. He then swung his sword again, this time to cut Naruto's head off, when his sword was suddenly held by Tsunade's left hand. Nani? Orochimaru asked, her trembling stopped. Orochimaru thought. I'm sorry Orochimaru, but I can't let you hurt that boy because he's one of my people, and what kind of Hokage would I be if I can't even protect my people? Tsunade replied and then punched Orochimaru in the face with her right fist, sending him flying a couple of feet back before landing on his feet. Hokage? Hokage is a shit job. Only fools would take it. Orochimaru sneered. Well then, that makes me a fool, doesn't it? But unlike you, I'd rather be a fool that is willing to sacrifice their lives for their dreams rather than being a fool who hides in the shadows like you. Tsunade said with a smirk before frowning, listen well Orochimaru. From now on, you will know me as the Godame Hokage of the Leaf. Tsunade said. Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Sakura asked as she puts his head on her lap and then started to heal his wound. I'm okay, Sakura-chan. By the way, that was an excellent fight Sakura-chan. You've really grown into a strong kunoichi Tabeyo. Naruto said with a smile, a genuine smile before drifting into unconsciousness. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Sakura replied, blushing. Here we go. Tsunade said as she took some of the blood on her and then went through a series of seals that Kabuto recognized as he regained consciousness. Orochimaru-sama. You have to summon Manda-sama now. Kabuto said. Orochimaru then reappeared beside him and he quickly put some blood on the seal on Orochimaru's arm. Come on, make it work. Jiraiya said as he went through his own seal, and then all three slammed the ground with their hand, and, Kuchios no Jutsu. All three yelled at the same time and then three huge explosions took place. When the smoke cleared, Tsunade was on top of a large white/blue slug, Jiraiya was on top of a giant reddish frog with a pipe, sword, and a black vest, and Orochimaru and Kabuto were on top of a purple snake with green eyes. Hey Dad! The yellow-skinned frog yelled as it said hello to its father, Gamatatsu. We gotta get out of here. Gamakichi yelled to his little brother as he and Tuntun were running away. Tsunade and Katsuya, Orochimaru and Manda. What is this, a special reunion? Gamabunta asked. No time for your stupid jokes, you old toad. We've got bigger things to worry about. We're going to defeat Orochimaru right here and now. Jiraiya replied. What is this, Orochimaru? Why did you summon here in this pathetic excuse of a land? You want me to eat you, you sorry piece of shit. Manda said. Please Manda-sama, we'll pay you generously later on, Kabuto tried to say in order to appease the snake boss. Who do you think you're talking to, you little shit? Manda yelled at Kabuto, you better prepare 100 sacrifices for me when this is over. Orochimaru, no matter what the situation was, he should have never summoned someone as unpredictable and selfish as Manda. Kabuto thought. You want me to turn you into toad jerky? Manda said to Gamabunta. I wouldn't mind turning you into a snakeskin wallet. Gamabunta replied as he drew his sword. As of now Orochimaru, you're no longer fit to be considered a Sannin. Jiraiya said. Oh really? Orochimaru chuckled. As of today, the Sannins are no more. Tsunade said. Sakura-chan, we have to get out of here or else we'll get caught in the battle. I'll help you carry Naruto-kun, Shizune said as she approached the two. Sakura nodded and together, they carried Naruto and went to a safer place. Zashur Nensen, thousand-fanged acid. Katsuya yelled as she shot some acid from her mouth toward Manda, who dashed around a rock before heading straight for Katsuya. Oh no, you don't. Suetun, Teppadama. Gamabunta yelled as he performed a water technique that headed straight for Manda. Weak shit. Ninpu, Hebe Enden, Ninja Art, Snake Bomb. Manda yelled as it countered with a snake-headed ball of energy that cancelled with the water bomb. Suetun, Teppadama. Gamabunta yelled again and fired 2 more shots, and Manda countered again but added a 3rd shot that took Gamabunta by surprise and struck him full force. Now for you, my pretty. Manda said as it then wrapped its tail around Katsuya and started to squeeze on it. Tsunade-sama. Katsuya said, and Tsunade nodded before getting off Katsuya just in time as Katsuya exploded into little versions of herself and then regrouped. Gamabunta then dashed through and tried to stab Manda with his large knife but was denied as Manda avoided the stab and grabbed the knife with its mouth and tossed it back at Manda, who moved out of the way, and the knife landed near Katsuya as Tsunade used it to land on Katsuya. Toad Cannon. Gamabunta yelled out as it headed straight for Manda in the form of a ball and struck the snake in the gut, knocking it back a few feet. Snake Pack. Manda yelled out and unleashed a huge group of smaller snakes from its mouth. Give me some oil, Bunta. Jiraiya said as he went through a series of seals. Got it. Bunta said and then began to bring up some oil at the apex of its mouth. Katon, Gameu Enden, Fire Release, Toad Oil Cannon. Jiraiya yelled out as he fired off a huge wave of flames that struck Manda. However, when the smoke cleared, something was not right as the remains of Manda's skin were still there. He molted his skin. Jiraiya said, and right on clue, Manda's tail appeared from underground, but Gamabunta was fast enough to catch it. However, the rest of Manda reappeared behind them and was about to bite them when Tsunade suddenly dived in with Bunta's knife in her hands and then plunged it right into Manda's mouth. Keep it shut. Tsunade yelled. I knew fighting these two at the same time would be quite troublesome, Orochimaru thought. He then lashed out his tongue and wrapped it around Tsunade. Let's end this. Tsunade said, and then got free from the hold, grabbed Orochimaru's tongue and pulled him up. She then focused all of her chakra into her left fist and then punched Orochimaru hard in the face, knocking way back into the ground, causing a crater as he landed. She struck him full force. Kabuto thought. That should have ended it. Jiraiya said. Grow, dare you shame me like this? I'd like to rip you to pieces, but my mouth is shut by that knife. So prepare yourself for your death next time. Manda growled before disappearing. Tsunade, even if you don't cooperate with me, I still have one option left. Orochimaru said. What the? Both Tsunade and Jiraiya exclaimed as they both saw a corner of Orochimaru's face ripped off to reveal the face of a young girl. I will surely destroy the Leaf Village. Until we meet again, my dear old friends. Orochimaru grinned before disappearing, followed quickly by Kabuto. So, he really was able to complete that jutsu, Jiraiya thought. Suddenly, Tsunade began to clutch her sides in pain. Damn, I must be feeling the side effects of that jutsu. Tsunade thought. Damn, I broke a rib and a leg. Jiraiya thought as he also felt some pain. That boy. He's really something. Just like his father was. If it wasn't for him, I doubt I would have chosen to become Godame. Tsunade said as she looked at Naruto, and you too, you're an incredible kunoichi, almost remind me of myself when I was younger. Tsunade said to Sakura. Yeah, except without the gambling problems. Jiraiya snickered. Shut up. Tsunade yelled. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. It means a lot coming from you. Sakura said. Don't mention it. Tsunade said with a smile before feeling a sensation in her body. Damn, the after effects of that jutsu are kicking in. Tsunade said as her skin began to shrivel. Tsunade-sama. Shizen said. It's best if we stay here a bit longer until Naruto-kun is at 100. Also, with more rest, I will be able to revert to my younger self again. Afterwards, we'll head back to the village. Tsunade said. Tsunade, Jiraiya began to say but was cut off by Tsunade. Don't call me that anymore. From now on, call me, Tsunade said. The Godame? Naruto said as he and the others were at the pub where everything began. Yep. Tsunade replied. About damn time you decided. Now, we can finally leave this damned place though. Naruto trailed off. Though what, Naruto? Jiraiya asked. I mean, she's strong and a great healer, but as a person, she's not really qualified at all. She's a chronic gambler, has a horrible temper, is a heavy drinker, and on top of that she lies about her age. I mean, what would the other village leaders think of us if we allow such a debased person to become Hokage? I understand the need to shore up our power again in the region, but is it worth the loss of our reputation and image? Naruto asked. Why, you little runt? Let's take this outside. A pissed-off Tsunade said as she got up in his face. Sure, no problem. Naruto smirked. Didn't we go through that already? Jiraiya sighed. Humph, I'm the Hokage now, whether you like or not, and this is all I will need, and this time, you're not going to trick me. Tsunade said as he showed only one finger. Just don't make yourself too comfortable while you're Hokage, because that title is going to belong to me in a few years. Naruto replied with a smirk. Is that so? But, do you have the balls to back up your proclamation? I wouldn't want to hand over my title to some scrawny little kid, you know. Tsunade said, in hopes of provoking Naruto. Why you? Naruto growled and ran straight for her. He would have been better off using a shadow clone. Jiraiya thought. Naruto throws a punch, but Tsunade ducked and countered by flicking Naruto's headband off with her finger. Naruto started to walk back as he saw her coming for him, but then his eyes widened when he did not feel a blow but rather a kiss, and looked up to see her kiss his forehead. She then takes out her necklace and puts it around Naruto. Tsunade-sama. Your necklace. Shizen exclaimed. Why give this to me? Naruto asked. It's because you've earned it, kid, and because I'm putting all of my hopes on you. Two others I held very close to me all wanted the same dream as you, and by giving you that necklace, you will carry on their dreams as well, their dreams of becoming Hokage. Tsunade explained. Thank you. Naruto said. Alright then, let's head back to the village. Jiraiya said. It looks like the village really has changed since I last left. Starting today, this village is my responsibility as the Godame. Tsunade said as she was on top of the rooftop that was standing in front of the Hokage mountain. I am amazed you were able to bring her here, Jiraiya. Komura said. Aren't I? Besides, handsome devil like me only needs its charm to persuade anyone. Ha, 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 ha. Jiraiya laughed. Yeah, right. You were hypnotized by her the moment she showed that huge rack of hers. Naruto said. Shut up, kid. Jiraiya replied, embarrassed. Well then, let's gather the local lords and celebrate the inauguration of the Godame. Lady Hamura ordered the two Jounins, who nodded. Wait a minute. Tsunade, there's someone you have to heal. Naruto said. Actually, two people, Naruto. Jiraiya said, correcting his student. Who were they again, Jiraiya? Tsunade asked. And here it begins. Naruto sighed as he rolled his eyes. Shut up. Tsunade yelled at him. There's Rock Lee and that brat's teacher, Kakashi. I thought I already told you that. Jiraiya said. Kakashi got hurt? Naruto thought as he was unaware of it all. Jiraiya, Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizen were heading down the stairs when they spotted Shikamaru and his dad coming up. What's up, Shikamaru? Naruto asked as he greeted his friend. Yo Naruto, I haven't seen you in a while. Shikamaru said as he greeted his friend. I went with this S-class pervert on a trip to make this gambling addict bimbo here our new Hokage. Naruto said nonchalantly as he pointed to Tsunade and Jiraiya who were blushing furiously. Let me at him, Shizune. I'll kill him. Tsunade roared as Shizune was desperately trying to hold her back. Damn it boy, why must you always make fun of me? Jiraiya asked. Because it's so much fun. Naruto replied with a huge mischievous grin. He calls the legendary hermit a pervert and the legendary healer a gambling bimbo addict? Shikaku thought. Don't be surprised, Dad. Naruto has an uncanny knack for getting under people's skin with ease. Shikamaru said with a smirk as he noticed the look on his father's face. Anyway Naruto, what are you doing here? Shikamaru asked. Just making sure this fool here does her job. What about you? Naruto replied, ignoring a raging Tsunade. Nothing really, just taking care of some annoying business. Shikamaru replied. By the way, aren't you two from the Nara family? Tsunade asked as she finally calmed down. Yes we are, Tsunade-sama. Shikaku answered. I heard the antlers make good medicine. Are you taking care of them? Tsunade asked. Yes, of course. Shikaku replied. So she's the new Hokage, huh? Ain't she a bit too young? Shikamaru whispered to Naruto. Please. She may look young but she's actually 50. She's just using a special jutsu to make herself look young. Naruto whispered back, shocking the young Nara. Anyway Shika, see you later. Naruto said as the others left. So that woman is going to become the 5H Hokage? Who is she anyway? Shikamaru asked. Shikamaru, that woman is the strongest and most beautiful in the world. She's also one of the legendary Sanins. Shikaku said as he put his hand around his son's neck. Damn, a woman Hokage. I hate women. They're selfish and annoying, they always act cordially and friendly and so I can never tell what's really going on. Besides, they think they can boss us guys around. Damn, I hate women. Shikamaru said while his dad sighed. Shikamaru, listen to me. There won't be any men if it wasn't for women. Men are no good without any women around. Even the roughest woman is tender to the man she loves. Besides, you'll understand when you grow up. Shikaku said. What the hell is he talking about? He always gets bossed around by mom. Shikamaru thought. Anyway, I better get going before your mom scolds me. Shikaku said as he left his son. And there are men whipped around by women. I hope the same doesn't happen to me. Shikamaru thought. I heard you got your ass kicked, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto snickered as Kakashi woke up after Tsunade healed him. Naruto-kun. I'm sure sensei tried his best. Sakura said. At least one of you respects my skills as a jounin. Kakashi said, glaring at Naruto who stuck out his tongue in reply. Alright then, to the next patient. Tsunade said. Hey Sakura, you wanna go out and eat at Ichiraku Ramen? Naruto asked. Sure. Sakura said, and the two left hand in hand. No way. I never expected you to be in a flak jacket, Shikamaru. Ino said, snickering. Hey, stop laughing. Shikamaru said as he was now dressed in a chunin jacket. Team 10 were at a barbecue restaurant, eating out. Come on guys, this is supposed to be a celebration so let's celebrate his promotion. Asuma grinned. Itadakimasu. Chuji said as he started to eat. Hey Chuji. Don't eat before everyone else. Ino said, scolding the boy. Besides, you're going to get sick if you eat like that. Can't you have more appreciation for the food? Ino asked. I know how to eat a lot and appreciate it at the same time. Chuji replied and then took the last piece of meat. Hey! I was saving that last piece. Ino said. The last bite is the most precious morsel of the meal as it also represents the end of the meal. I won't let anyone take it away from me. Chuji said. What the heck are you saying, Baka? That's why everyone makes fun of you. Ino said. Like I care. They can make fun of me all they want, but I know my true strength, and this headband is an ultimate proof of it. Chuji said with a stern tone, surprising everyone. Anyway, congratulations on your success, Shikamaru. Chuji said with a grin. It looks like Ino is not the only one who has improved in our team. Before, Chuji would have been upset by what people thought, but now, nothing can make him doubt himself, nothing. Asuma thought. Alright Akamaru. Let's do it. Dynamic air marking. Kiba told his dog as they were racing in the forest. Akamaru then jumped up and peed all over the trees in a spinning fashion. Good one, Akamaru. Kiba hollered. I thought you two were taking a walk, not desecrating the forest. Shino said as he held a glass box full of bugs. Ah, shut up Shino. Nobody cares what you think. Kiba replied as he continued his training. That guy, Shino said, frowning. Everyone has their own hobbies, but what about me? Hinata thought, what's wrong, Hinata-chan? Why the long face? A voice said behind her, and when she turned, it was none other than Sasuke. Sasuke-kun. Hinata exclaimed. I see you're back, Sasuke. Shino said. Hey Shino, Kiba. Sasuke said as he greeted them. Where the heck did you go, Sasuke? I didn't see you for days. Kiba asked. I went on a training trip in a town that belongs to my clan. Now Hinata, I have so many things to talk to you about. So about you and I go out and eat somewhere? Sasuke asked as he wrapped one of his arms around Hinata, making her blush before the two headed off. Smooth as always, that guy. Kiba said. You really beat someone that was on Jounin level, Sakura-chan? Irika asked as he joined the two lovers. Yep, she did, and you should have seen her. She mopped the floor with him. Naruto said. Naruto-kun, I wasn't that good. Sakura said as she was blushing. Nonsense, Sakura-chan. You were great out there and really showed your worth as a kunoichi, though I knew you were that strong all along. Naruto said with a smile. That's amazing, Sakura. Oh yeah guys, I wanted to tell you that Shikamaru made Chunin. Irika said. Nani? Both Sakura and Naruto exclaimed, surprised. So Tsunade-sama, how is he? Guy asked as he and Tsunade were in Lee's room as Tsunade performed her diagnosis. It breaks my heart to tell you this, but you must quit being a shinobi. Tsunade said sadly, causing both Guy and Lee to flinch. Tsunade-sama, you must be joking, correct? Guy laughed. I'm not. There are numerous bone fragments lodged in his vital parts of his neural framework. You're in no condition to operate as a shinobi even if I operate on you. Tsunade said sternly. Lee. Don't believe her, she's an imposter. Guy said, but then realized that Tsunade was telling the truth when he saw the sincere look on her face. There isn't any hope? Lee asked, trembling. I am the only able to perform the surgery. But not only does it require a large amount of time, it is also extremely risky. Tsunade said. Risky? Guy asked. At best, the success rate of this operation rests around 50% at the highest. If it fails, then he will die. Tsunade said, even if it is successful, he will have to endure extensive rehabilitation. Tsunade added. All of this information caused Lee to breathe faster and sweat tremendously. He then took one of his crutches, puts back on his shirt, and then headed out of the room. Tsunade-sama, Guy said as he saw his students leave the room. I understand how you feel, but it's best that I told him all of this. Tsunade said. If I knew this would happen, then I wouldn't have bothered bringing him here. Guy said. Regardless of his determination, it's better if he quits now. Waiting will only make it harder on him and inevitability cannot be delayed. Tsunade said. Lee. Guy thought as he knew what Tsunade said was true that his student could never become a shinobi again. Later that night, Guy finds Lee sitting at the place where Team Guy first met. Flashback, Sensei. Despite not being able to use ninjutsu or genjutsu, I aspire to become a great ninja and I am devoting everything to that purpose. Lee boasted. How idiotic. Niji smirked. And what's so idiotic about that? Lee asked. You say you can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu and yet you want to become a great ninja? Are you retarded or what? Niji asked with a smirk, causing Lee to lower his head in shame until, nonsense. As long as you have passion, nothing is impossible to accomplish. Along with a good rival, if you give it all of your hard work into it, you'll definitely become a great ninja. Guy said. It was then that I decided to admire Guy-sensei. Let's just get this over with. Besides, I doubt you'll back down. Kakashi said in a bored tone as he and Guy were standing in the middle of the street. So what will it be this time? A taijutsu competition? A 100-meter dash? Guy asked. None of that nonsense. A simple Janken should do it. Kakashi replied. Janken? Guy asked, somewhat disappointed. Yep. Besides, they say that with great luck comes great power and responsibility. Kakashi said. I see, Guy said. Why is Kakashi doing this? He doesn't want to fight? Niji asked as he and Lee were looking from a balcony under the two jounins. That's what it seems like. Lee answered. I'll do it, and if by chance I lose, I promise to run 500 laps around Konoha on my hands. Guy boasted. Here you again with your self-imposed rules. Kakashi said. What an idiot, can you actually do something like that? What a kid. Niji said. Even for Guy-sensei, that's a bit reckless. Lee thought. Janken. Both jounins yelled out. End flashback. I knew I would find you here. Guy said as he puts his hand on his student's shoulder. Guy-sensei. Lee said, why are you here? Lee asked. Because I know everything about you, Lee. Guy said and then gave Lee a grin that had a twinkle in it. The first time I became a genin, this is where I swore my dream, my entire purpose for my life. Niji laughed at me back then, but I was serious about it. Besides, Sensei told me that if I competed with my rivals and made the best of my youth, I would become a splendid ninja. That hard work is required to get there. Lee said before chuckling and continuing, I was grateful because during my years at the academy, I didn't have many friends or teachers who told me those things. So I was relieved when I didn't know what to do, a path would appear in front of me. It was to put hard work into everything, and one time, when I was down to my tears and thinking that beating a genius with effort only was impossible, Sensei told me that you are a genius at putting your heart into everything you do. That is also when I learned the importance of believing in myself. Lee said and then began to shake and tears started to fall down on his bandages on his hands. But just this once, I don't know that I'll get anywhere, even if I try, even if I believe in myself. Guy-sensei, please tell me, Lee cried out as the dam broke, why does something like that only happens to me? What should I do? Tell me. Lee cried. Aiming to become an excellent taijutsu specialist was all he had until now. Guy thought, how painful it must be, he is being unreasonably deprived all of his dreams and wishes. Guy thought as he looked at Lee's crutches, and he then remembered what Tsunade said flashback, no matter what his dreams are, he should give up on being a ninja. Tsunade said. End flashback, Lee, if you want to be saved from your pain, you must prepare yourself. Guy said. Does that mean prepare myself to give up on my dreams? Lee asked. If you lose your dreams, then you will end suffering more than you are now. We're such fools that once we lose our nindos, we can't live on. It's the same for the both of us. Take the surgery, Lee. Guy said. I remember that one time when you went against Kakashi-sensei in a game of Janken. Sensei then said that with luck comes great power. That surgery also has a 50-50 chance of life and death, but it is different from Janken. Lee said. Let me tell you something, Lee. In the world of the martial arts, the one who does not believe will always be the one defeated, do you understand? Basically, one can only succeed if they believe in victory. When they do so, then nothing is impossible and there is nothing they cannot succeed in. And if by some chance the surgery fails, then I will die with you. My nindo has been to raise you as a great ninja, and that's a promise that I will never break. Guy said, and then gave Lee his nice guy pose. Arigato, Guy-sensei. Lee said as he hugged his sensei and then cried. It's alright, Lee. Everything will be alright. Guy said. So, who the heck are you guys and what the hell do you want? Sasuke asked as four ninjas, all wearing sound headband, surrounded him and Hinata in the middle of the street at night. We're Orochimaru's personal bodyguards, the Sound Four, and we were sent by Orochimaru to bring you to him as his new vessel. Any questions, kid? The man with black hair, tan skin and 6 arms asked. Thank you for your time. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and please share this video with your friends and follow me on other social media platforms. Guys, please assist the author by clicking on a link in the description. This is Fox Sage, and I'm signing off.